In this videotape, I'm going to be working at a sample CUNY assessment test in mathematics. This should be your final review before you take the actual CUNY assessment test. The ideal way to watch this tape is to have first worked out all of the problems, and this would be a way of checking yourself to see if you've gotten them correct. Remember, the exam that I'm going to be working out is from the book that we have been using, Passing the CUNY Mathematics Skills Assessment Test. In this videotape, I am working out sample exam number A, which is found on page 320. There are also other sample exams in the book, and the solutions are worked out at the end of the book. So if you like this and you want to try some more, they are in the book after page 320. When you're taking the CUNY assessment test, the first thing to do is to work out each problem. It's a multiple choice test, and then look for the answer that you found among the multiple choices. Don't just look at the answers because you may look quickly and pick the wrong one. First work out the problem, then find your answer among the choices that are available. Also, remember that we do not take off if you get a wrong answer, so if you really have no idea, it's still a good idea to try to guess. The first question on this exam, and I won't be writing down the questions because you should be watching this with a copy of the exam in front of you. If not, if you don't have one, stop the machine and ask the tutor for a copy of the test. The first question asks you to write 420,500 in numerals. Okay, remembering our earlier videotapes, 420,000 would be written that way, plus another 500. 420,500. And on your test, this is choice D. Okay? All the other choices use the numbers, the numerals 4, 2, 5, and 0 in various arrangements. So it's very important that you do this carefully. 420,500. Okay? The second question. 328 minus 79. The arithmetic questions are very often written horizontally like this. In order to work it out, you should rewrite it vertically. You would like to subtract 9 from 8, but this is too small, so we're going to take one of these 10s. We have two 10s. Take one and change it into 10 ones. 10 ones and 8 ones gives us 18. 18, take away 9, 9. Now, 7 from 1 we can't do, so we'll take one of these. Okay, well, we have 3 hundredths. We'll change this into 2 hundredths, and one of the hundredths will turn into 10 tens. 10 tens, and we have 1 10, gives us 11 tens. 11 take away 7 is 4. 2 take away 0 is 2. So the answer is 249, which is choice A. By the way, you can always check your answer in a subtraction. If you've done it correctly, 249 and 79 should give us what we started with. 9 plus 9, 18. 1 plus 4, 5, and 7, 12. 1 and 2, 3, 328. So the answer to problem 2 is answer A, 249. Question 3. 6,512 divided by 16. 6,512 divided by 16, or 16 into 6,512. Okay, if you look at the possible choices there that you're given, you see that most of them are whole numbers. At this stage, early on in the CUNY assessment test, the answers are usually integer answers. Okay, but if you're not sure if you're going to need decimal points, you could always put the decimal point after the number and follow it through into the answer. Okay, how many times does 16 go into 6? It doesn't. 16 into 65 goes 4 times. 4 times 16, 64. And we subtract 5, take away 4, 1, and bring down the next digit. How many times does 16 go into 11? It doesn't. You must put a 0 in there as a placeholder. Bring down the next digit. How many times does 16 go into 112? 7 times. 7 times 16, 6 times 7, 42. Put down the 2 and 4. 1 times 7, 7 and 4, 11. Subtract, remainder 0. The answer is 407, which is choice B among the choices given. Okay, now looking at the other choices, you're given 470, 47. If you had forgotten to put the 0 in here, okay, it would have looked like the answer is 47. You must have the 0, 407. When 16 did not go into 11, we had to put the 0 there as a placeholder. Question 4 asks for the average of the numbers 78, 81, 82, and 91. Find the average. To find the average of a group of numbers, you add up the numbers and divide the result by the amount of numbers that are in the group. In this case, we will add up these 4 numbers and divide the result by 4 to find the average. We're adding 78, 81, 82, and 91. 8 plus 1, 9, and 2, 11, and 1, 12. Put down the 2 and carry the 1. 1 plus 7, 8, and 8, 16, and 8, 24, and 9, 33. 332, which will then be divided by 4 to get the average. How many times does 4 go into 3? It doesn't. How many times does 4 go into 33? 8 times 4 times 8 is 32. Subtract 3, take away 2, 1, bring down the next digit. How many times does 4 go into 12? 3 times. 4 times 3 is 12. Subtract, the remainder is 0. So the average is 83, and this is choice C among the choices given. So the answer to question 4 is C. Question 5. Okay, now you have to read this problem carefully. A club sells 952 raffles at $3 each. The printing of the raffle books costs $97. If there are $52 in other expenses, the profit is, and you're expected to find that. Okay, well, the profit is going to be the sales minus the expenses. Now, the sales. We're told that they sell 952 raffles at $3 each. So what they're taking in is 952 raffles times $3 each. Taking away now the expenses. Now, we are told that the printing of the raffle books costs $97, so that has to be taken away. And we're also told that there are $52 in other expenses. So the total profit will be what they made by selling the raffle tickets, 952 tickets sold at $3 per ticket, less the cost for the printing the raffle tickets and the other expenses. Okay, first let's figure out what 952 times 3 is. 3 times 2, that's 6. 3 times 5, 15. Put down the 5, carry the 1. 3 times 9, 27, plus 1, 28. So they take in $2,856. Less, now, the two types of expenses. We have the printing cost and the other expenses. Adding this up, the total expenses would be 7 plus 2, 9, 5 and 9, 14, $149. So we're going to take away $149. Okay, I took off the 97 and the 52. What I did is I added these both up and subtracted the total from this. So we have 2,856, take away 149. The total sales minus the total expenses. That'll give us the profits. Finishing up now with this subtraction. Okay, trying to take 9 from 6, we'll have to borrow here. 16 take away 9 gives us 7. 4 take away 4 is 0. 8 take away 1, 7. 2 take away 0, 2. So we get $2,707 for the total profit. And if you look at the choices, this is choice B, $2,707. Question 6, which of these fractions is the smallest? And they give you 5 fractions, A, B, C, D, and E. A is 2/3, B is 3/5, C is 3/4, D is 5/8, and E is 5/6. We're looking for the smallest. Okay, there are 2 ways of handling this problem, which were shown to you on the videotapes. One thing we can do is compare each of these fractions, compare A to B, and the smaller of those compare that to C, and so on down the line until we find the smallest fraction. We can do this by the cross-multiplying technique that we learned. Let's compare 2/3 to 3/5. We don't know which is larger, but we know that if we multiply 2 times 5 and 3 times 3, in other words, cross-multiply, multiply the upper left here by the lower right here, and the upper right by the lower left. And if we figure out which is larger here, 2 times 5, that's 10, and that is certainly greater than 9. If 10 is greater than 9, then this must be greater than this, and in fact, 2/3 must be greater than 3/5. Since we are looking for the smallest, we can now say that this is out. Okay, between A and B, 2/3 is larger than 3/5, so 3/5 is now the smaller between those two. Let's now compare the 3/5 and the 3/4. Cross-multiplying, 3 times 4 is to be compared to 3 times 5. 12 is less than 15, and therefore we now know that 3/5 is less than 3/4. 3/5 is smaller than 3/4, so 3/4 is out in our search for the smallest. 3/5 is less than 3/4. Now let's compare 3/5 to 5/8. 3/5 to 5/8. 3 times 8 to be compared to 5 times 5. 24 is less than 25, so 3/5 is less than 5/8, which means 5/8 is now out. And finally, comparing 3/5 to 5/6. 3 times 6 to be compared to 5 times 5. 18 is less than 25, so 3/5 is less than 5/6. 5/6 is out, and we now know that the smallest is 3/5, which was answer B. Okay, this is one way of handling it. Another way of handling the same problem would be to change each of these fractions to their decimal equivalents. In other words, 2/3, to write that as a decimal. 2/3 means 2 divided by 3. 3 into 2. 3 into 20 goes 6 times. That gives us 18. With the 2, bring down the 0 again. We get 3 into 20 goes 6 times. And what happens is we keep getting that. So we get point, say, 667. Similarly, if you were to work out each of the other ones, 3/5 is 6/10, 0.6, or if you want to make it 0.600. 3/4 is 0.75, or 0.750 if you want to do everything to 3 places. 5/8 is 0.625, and you can work all of these out separately. And 5/6 is 0.833. And if you do that, then looking to the first, since all of these are pure decimals, there are no digits to the left of the decimal point, we look to the right of the decimal point. The smallest of the smallest number would have the smallest first digit, so that means it must be one of the 0.6 numbers. Then we move to the second digit to the right of the decimal point. This is a 6, this is a 0, this is a 2, so this is the smallest. Or if you were to multiply each of those by 1,000, 600 is smaller than 667, 625, 750, and 833. So whether you do it by the cross-multiplying technique to find the smallest fraction or change each of the fractions to their decimal equivalents, we can work out this problem. All right, question 7 asks for a subtraction. They say 27 pounds, 12 ounces, subtract 18 pounds, 14 ounces. Okay, we can't take 14 from 12, so we'll have to borrow. We'll change this from 27 pounds to 26 pounds. And 1 pound is equivalent to 16 ounces. Okay, so when we were just doing straight subtractions, we changed 1/10 to 10 ones. But here, 1 pound becomes 16 ounces. 16 and 12, in other words, this is now 28 ounces. So instead of working 27 pounds, 12 ounces, take away something, we're making this 26 pounds, 28 ounces. Okay, taking away the same thing. Now, 28 take away 14, 8 take away 4 is 4, 2 take away 1, 1, 14 ounces, and 26 take away 18, we get 8. So 8 pounds, 14 ounces, and 8 pounds, 14 ounces is choice D among the various choices. All right. Question 8 asks you to add 2/9 plus 3/4. To add two fractions, they must have the same denominator. What we must first do is transform these fractions into equivalent fractions having the same denominator. The lowest common denominator in this case is, in this particular problem, the product of the denominator is 36. That's the smallest number that 9 and 4 both are factors of. Okay, now we'd like to change 2/9 to a fraction with denominator 36 and also 3/4 to a fraction with denominator 36. We use the fundamental principle of fractions that says we can multiply the numerator and the denominator of a fraction by the same non-zero quantity and get an equivalent fraction. To change 9 into 36, we'd have to multiply by 4. If we want to multiply the denominator here by 4, we also have to multiply the numerator by 4. Whereas we can multiply the top and the bottom of this fraction by 4. The denominator will be 36. The numerator, of course, will be 8. Similarly, to go from 4 to 36, we'd have to multiply the denominator by 9. If you want to multiply the denominator by 9, in order to get an equivalent fraction, you have to multiply the numerator by 9 as well. So 3/4 is equivalent to 27 over 36. We have 8 over 36 plus 27 over 36. Once we have the same denominator, we combine the numerators, 8 plus 27, which is 35, and put it over the common denominator. 35 over 36 is the answer, and that is choice C on the test. Question 9 is a subtraction involving mixed numbers. 4 1/2 take away 2 1/3. First, we will change each of these mixed numbers into an improper fraction. 4 1/2, we go 4 times 2, 8 plus 1, that's 9 halves. take away 2 1/3. 2 times 3, 6 plus 1, 7/3. And of course, we worked out problems like this on a previous videotape if you're having trouble. 4 1/2 is 9/2. 2 1/3 is 7/3. And now we proceed as before to add or subtract fractions. They have to have the same denominator. So we're going to change each of these fractions into an equivalent fraction, having the denominator 6, since that is the smallest number that both of these denominators are factors of. To go from 2 to 6, we'd have to multiply by 3. If you want to multiply the denominator by 3, you multiply the numerator by 3 as well. So we'll get 27/6 being equivalent to the 9/2. Similarly, to go from 3 to 6, we'd have to multiply by 2. So we'll multiply the numerator by 2 as well. 7/3 is equivalent, therefore, to 14/6. So we have 27/6 take away 14/6. Once they have the same denominator, you combine numerators, put it over the same denominator. 27 minus 14 gives us 13. So we finish the problem, we get 13/6. However, if you look at the choices, all the choices on the exam are given as mixed numbers. Therefore, you have to say to yourself, what is 13/6 equivalent to? 13/6 means 13 divided by 6. 6 into 13 goes 2 times. 2 times 6 is 12 with a remainder of 1. And you can write this as the quotient 2 plus the remainder 1 over the divisor 6. 13/6 is equivalent to 2 and 1/6. In other words, 2 times 6 plus 1. 13/6. Now, if you look on your test, 2 1/6, that is choice B. Okay, so if you get 13/6, don't get upset. Just realize that all of their answers were mixed numbers and transform this back to 2 1/6. Question 10, 8 1/4 divided by 2 3/4. Once again, an arithmetic problem involving mixed numbers. They have to first be changed into improper fractions. 8 1/4, 8 times 4, 32 plus 1, 33/4 divided by 2 3/4. 2 times 4, 8 plus 3, 11/4. 33/4 divided by 11/4, we invert and multiply by 4/11. Okay, 33, we multiply the numerators and divide by the product of the denominators. Of course, we can first cancel the 4's, and we get 33 divided by 11, which is equal to 3. Now, 3 in question 10 corresponds to choice A. Question 11 on the test asks you to add 15.093 plus 2.979 plus 8. Okay, now to do this, you certainly must rewrite the problem in a vertical form. 15.093 plus 2.979 plus 8. Now, 8 is really 8 point, and you can fill in the extra zeros. When you're adding them up, of course, the decimal points must all be lined up, and in the answer as well. Okay, adding 3 plus 9, 12, carry the 1. 1 plus 9, 10, and 7, 17. Put down the 7, carry the 1. 1 and 9, 10. Put down the 0, carry the 1. 1 plus 5, 6, and 2, 8 and 8, 16. Put down the 6, carry the 1, 1 plus 1, 2. So 26.072, which is choice B on the test. Question 12, which of these numbers is the smallest? And this is a lot easier than the one with fractions because these are written in decimals. We have A, B, C, D, E. 0.0404, 0.0440, 0.0309, 0.0490, 0.0390. Okay, these are all pure decimals, so we look to the right of the decimal point, and they all have the same digit, 0. Therefore, we're looking for the first time we have one that's different from the other ones. The smallest will determine the smallest number. But since the first digit to the right of the decimals is all zeros, we move to the second digit. We have 4, 4, 4, 3, and 3. So these are out for the smallest, and it's between these two. These two agree in the first two digits to the right of the decimal. So we move to the third digit to the right of the decimal. 0 is less than 9, and therefore this is the smallest, choice C. Another way of doing this, since all of them have the exact same number, okay, 4 decimal digits, you can multiply each of these numbers by 10,000. That is, move the decimal in each case 4 digits to the right, and then look for the smallest number. And of course, 309 is smaller than 390, smaller than 404, smaller than 440, smaller than 490. So that's another way of handling it. Question 13. 87.8 take away 7.96 equals. Okay, well, first you once again have to rewrite it in the vertical form. 87.8 take away 7.96. We'll then fill in a 0 here. So we have the same number of decimal digits. The decimal point in the answer will be under the decimal point in the question. And now, once we have the decimal point here, we basically handle the subtraction as if there were no decimal point. We want to take 6 from the 0, but we can't do it like that, so we make this into a 7, and we borrow. 6 from 10 is a 4. We want to now take 9 from 7, and we can't do that, so we change the 7 here to a 6 and make this 17. 17 take away 9 is 8. We want to take 7 from the 6. We can't do that, so we change this to a 7, make that a 16. 16 take away 7 is 9, and 7 take away 0 is a 7, for an answer of 79.84, which is choice B. Okay? Most people are a little uncertain with their subtractions, and of course you can check your answer by taking 79.84 and adding 7.96, and if you've done it correctly, you should get the 87.8. So 4 and 6, that's 10. 9 and 9, 18. 10 and 7, 17. And 8, 87.8, which is correct. Question number 14. Change 12/13 to a decimal rounded to the nearest hundredth. 12/13 to a decimal rounded to the nearest hundredth. 12/13 means 12 divided by 13, or 13 into 12. Since they say rounded to the nearest hundredth, we will carry it to 3 places and round our answer back to 2. Hundredth place would be the second decimal digit. They want it correct to the second decimal digit, so we go 1 more place, 3 decimal digits to round back to 2. Okay, how many times does 13 go into 12? It doesn't. How many times does 13 go into 120? It goes 9 times. 9 times 3, 27. Put down the 7, 2 and 9, 11. Subtracting, 120 take away 117 gives us a 3, bringing down the next digit, the 0. 13 into 30 goes 2 times. 2 times 13, 26. Subtract 4, bring down the last of the digits. 13 into 40 goes 3 times. 13 times 3 is 39. Subtract. Okay, so we have an answer of 0.923. Since the third digit is less than 5, we leave it as 0.92. If the third digit had been 5 or greater, we would have rounded the second digit up to a 3. Okay, so we leave this as 0.92. If, however, it had been 0.925 or 0.926, we would have made it 0.93. 0.92 is one of the choices. It is choice A on the test. Question 15. A store sells 16 copies of a textbook priced at $7.95. What are the total sales for this book? We want 16 copies at $7.95 each. So we're going to multiply. To get the total cost, we'll multiply the number of copies times the unit cost. 16 copies at $7.95 each. 6 times 5, 30. 9 times 6, 54, and 3, 57. 6 times 7, 42, and 5, 47. 4770 in that row. Now 1 times is 795, but indent 1 to put the answer. So 597. Add 0, 7 and 5, 12. 8 and 9, 17. 5 and 7, 12. Now as far as your decimals, there were 2 decimal digits here, 0 decimal digits here, 2 plus 0, 2 decimal digits in the answer. So the final answer will be $127.20, which is choice C on the test. All right, question 16. What is 60% of 75? You want 60% of 75. That is 0.60 times 75. Okay, 75 times 0.60, 0. 5 times 6, 30, 7 times 6, 42, and 3, 45, 2 decimal digits in the answer. So the answer here is 45, and that is choice D. Question 17. If 60 is 80% of a certain number, find that number. 60 is or equals 80% of a certain number. That's 0.80 times a certain number. 60 is 80% of a certain number. Find the number. Since 60 is 0.80 times this number must be 60 divided by 0.80. Since this times the number is 60, 60 divided by this, 0.80, must be equal to the number. Okay, in order to do the division, we must first have the divisor as an integer. To accomplish that, we use the fundamental principle of fractions. We will multiply numerator and denominator by the correct power of 10, so the denominator will be a whole number. So we'll multiply the top and the bottom by 100. This will move this decimal point 2 places to the right, giving us 80 down here, and move this decimal point, which you don't see but actually appears to the right of the number, 2 places to the right, giving us 6000, or 6,000. So 6,000 divided by 80. We can divide now numerator and denominator by 10, and we have 600 divided by 8. 8 into 600. 8 into 60 goes 7. 7 times 8, 56. Subtracting 60, take away 56 is 4. Bring down to 0. 8 into 40 goes 5 times. And no remainder. So this is 75. 60 is 80% of 75, and 75 is choice D on the test. Question 18 on the test. If a $45 dress is on sale reduced by 10%, its sale price is what? Okay, there are two ways of handling it. One way is to say that the sale price is going to be 90% of the original cost of the dress. Remember, it's reduced by 10%. Therefore, the sale price will be 90% of the original price. And we will have 0.90 times 45. We can do this way, 0, because 9 times 45, 9 times 5 is 45. And 4 nines are 36, and 4 40, and 2 decimal digits in the answer. So we can do it directly and say $40.50, which is choice D. Another way to do it would be to figure out how much is being taken off. There's a 10% reduction, okay? So the reduction is, the price reduction is 10% of the $45, and therefore that is $4.50. We're multiplying by 0.1, therefore moving the decimal one place to the left. $4.50, and the sale price will be the original price minus the reduction. So we'll have $45 less the $4.50 that they're taking off for an answer of $40.50 that way. This is done in one step. The sale price is 90% of the original price since they took off 10%. Here you take off the 10, you figure out what 10% is, you take that off from the original price, you get the same answer. It's answer D on the test. Question 19. Find the area of a rectangular tabletop that is 40 inches long and 22 inches wide. 40 inches long and 22 inches wide. So the length is 40 inches and the width is 22 inches. The area is, of course, length times width. 40 inches times 22 inches gives us, okay, 40 times 22, 80, 880. Or you could have done this way if you were to say it is 4 times 22 and then multiply by 10. 880 square inches. It can be written that way, or on the test it's written 880 inch square inches like that. 880 square inches, and that is answer B. Okay. 880 inches does not appear, but be careful. Okay, remember it has to be square inches. Inches times inches, square inches. Question 20 on the exam is a bar graph. Okay, the bar graph tells you in thousands the total number of copies of a certain magazine that was sold from September through December 1982. I'm not going to reproduce the graph, it's on your paper, but what you can do is to write down next to each of the months, September, October, November, December, how many magazines were sold. Okay, in September, the height of the bar, okay, lines up with the 3. 3, but of course it says in thousands. So there were 3,000 copies sold in the month of September. The October bar has the same height as the number 2. So there were 2,000 magazines sold in October. November, the height of the bar is between the 3 and the 4. Okay, so let's approximate it as 3,500, 3.5 or 3,500. And in December, it's lined up with the 4, so 4,000 magazines sold in December. Adding it up to get the total number sold from September through December, 0, 0, 5, 3 plus 2, 5, and 3, 8, and 4, 12. 12,500 magazines sold, and that is choice C on the exam. The first 20 questions on the exam were basically arithmetic. The next 20 questions, there are 40 questions in all on the exam, have to do with algebra. Question 21, the first algebra question, is to find the sum of 4x plus 9y and 6x minus 9y. Okay, well, 4x plus 6x will give us 10x. The plus 9y and the minus 9y, they cancel out, giving us 0y. So the answer is just 10x, and that is choice A. Question 22. What is the product of 6a squared bc cubed and minus 2a b to the 4th c squared? Of course, you should be very careful when you're writing this down on your paper. You shouldn't make any copy mistakes. First, take care of the arithmetic constant. 6 times the minus 2 will give us minus 12. Then let's take care of the a's. We have a squared times a. 2 a's here and 1 a there, a total of 3, so it's a cubed. B times b to the 4th gives us b to the 5th. C cubed times c squared gives us c to the 5th. And we keep the base and we add the powers.